host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast in the kitchen, by the way. It's your boy, Chris Don One. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this video or live stream with your friends, family, and followers. Let's get this YouTube channel lit in the YouTube algorithm, because like you guys know, YouTube algorithm know of me, but it really doesn't know me. If he dig what I'm saying, all right? If you want to further support the channel, hit the join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges. You can also super chat. You can super sticker. Yeah, dig. Okay, got all those proceedings out of the way. Let's get into some magic. Okay, now your boy, he's air frying some tater tots. So I'm gonna be cooking some tater tots. Let me see if y'all can if y'all can smell what the rock is cooking. If you can smell what the rock is cooking, I got some tater tots. Yeah. I had a craving for some tater tots, man. I really do. I got some craving for some tater tots. You dig? They say you have to keep it on for 17 minutes. And it's like 400 degrees. All right. But I'm gonna be checking it on a day in. I'm gonna be checking it because I'm gonna stay in the kitchen. Okay. So yeah. All right. I'm not like one of those types. I'm not like one of those types of goons that put their food on the stove or in the microwave or in the air fryer and just walk away. You know, go to the next room, watch TV or play music or go take a bath, shower, whatever you're doing, all right? And just totally leave my food unattended, because you never know when things happen, okay? Or you don't know how long time took between you leaving the kitchen and doing what you was doing, or go take out the garbage or whatever. I'm not one of those types of brothers, all right? So yeah, we're about to get into this. So we're gonna talk about something I saw on the interwebs a couple of days ago, and I wanted to do a live stream on it yesterday, but your boy got mad busy. I was doing some other stuff, all right? So I wanted to talk about this Jim Jones versus Nas thing. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I think it's a ridiculous argument. First and foremost, have y'all noticed on social media, they be having the weirdest comparisons of mankind? Y'all notice that? Like, it doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Everyone have the most weirdest things to compare. And I felt like this was the most dumbest, lamest argument of mankind. And to make it even more dumber, you know, Jim Jones talked about it on a podcast, and he also went on Nightcap with Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp, and he got into it with Shannon Sharp. You know, a little verbal altercation, nothing new, nothing important, nothing major. And you know, if I'm Jim Jones, I will feel offended that you're comparing me to Nas. Like, Nas is a legend. Nas is going to be on everybody's top 5 of the best rappers, dead or alive. He's going to be in the top 5, okay? If you want to, you know, rank him lower than that, he should, if he's not in your top 5, he should be somewhere in the top 10. And Jim Jones, he's a good rapper. I like Jim Jones. I liked his recent project. You know, I thought that was pretty decent, pretty solid. And you know, I like the Dipset, I like Cameron, I like Jim Jones. You know, they was doing some major numbers back in the day. Okay, Dipset. I liked all that stuff. Okay. But you know, even back then, I didn't even think Jim Jones was the best rapper back then, and he had some hits back then. He was on a lot of features back then. He was with Dipset. He was with Cameron. Okay. Uh, and I like Jim Jones, but I would be offended if I'm Jim Jones. I'm offended that people feel like there should be a comparison between me and Nas because there is no comparison. And I felt like Jim Jones should have said, "Look, Nas is a legend. It's insulting to Nas, and I feel offended by you would compare me to Nas because there is no comparison. Okay, Nas is his own. He's a legend. I can't touch that. Nas have better albums than Jim Jones. Now, I will say the one thing I feel like Jim Jones have over Nas is Jim Jones knows how to pick and choose his beats. All right. Nas sometimes he's hit or miss on the beats. It be some projects where they got Nas featured on a beat, and it's good. I mean, it's great. And then there's other projects where you listen to Nas and you listen to the beat and be like, who chose that beat? I think Nas lyrically is a better lyricist than Jim Jones. There's no debating about that. But I do feel like Jim Jones, if he has anything over Nas, I think the one caveat he has is he has an ear for beat selection. Okay? And I hear this all the time with a lot of rappers. Like, there are some rappers that they have to listen to the music before they can write their lyrics. And then there's other rappers, and I feel like this is Nas, that just write lyrics and pick the music or the beat later. And sometimes that could be a hit or miss. So if anything, let me check my tater tots. Alright, in a couple more minutes. If anything, Nas is a better Nas is a better, he has an ear for beats better than Jim Jones has a better ear for beats and music than Nas. But when you look at their catalog, there's no competition. I mean, Nas has the better overall catalog. And even though Nas is hit and miss on his beat selection, that still don't stop Nas from selling multiple upon multiple albums, having hit singles. He still has more hit singles, still has a better catalog, still has better albums than Jim Jones. I don't understand. And then I heard Jordan Tower said this. I'm subscribed to Jordan Tower. I heard Jordan Tower said this, and he said this theory, and he might be right on this. I think he said the reason why Jim Jones is playing along with this because Jim Jones want to keep his name relevant on social media because no one else wasn't checking Jim Jones on anything else other than this Jim Jones versus Nas comparison, which is laughable and ridiculous. But hey, it is what it is. Give it like one more minute, and I'm gonna get them up out of there. So yeah, I don't think to me there's no competition. Jim Jones is a good rapper. I don't deem Jim Jones a great rapper, and I know there's a lot of young folks that haven't heard the whole catalog of Nas or really doesn't know Nas. And one thing I heard one person say, a young dude say, is Man, nobody don't play Nas in the club. Nobody don't play Nas when they driving up and down the street. But to that I say, who drives up and down the street playing Bowling, we fly high, and why you know it. Bowling. That was his best song. But nobody don't play Jim Jones either. You know, if you're gonna utilize that argument on Nas, then how come you're not using that same argument on Jim Jones? But hey, look, it is what it. I like Jim Jones. I like Nas. Um, you know, and hey, there may be some truth in maybe the reason why he's arguing this or talking about this is the only way he stays alive on social media. Because when it comes to his music, nobody is not on social media looking for Jim Jones or talking about Jim Jones and his music or his projects or anything like that. So yeah, yeah, it's I don't know. It made no sense to why. All right, but to me, if you're asking me, I would put Nas over Jim Jones. Nas over Jim Jones. That's just my opinion. All right. Woo! Look at that. Sugar doggy. I like how the key to making great tater tots is not to keep them in there long. Not to keep them there long. Ooh. Not to keep the tater tots in there long. Get them in, get them out. Because you keep your tater tots in there too long, they get too hot. I mean, they get too hard. Pause. But if you keep them in there just right, they cook all the way through. They're soft. They're tender. They're moist. And they good to go. Yes, sir. That's the key. They are good to go. So, what do I put on my tater tots? Well, I'll tell you. Look at them tater tots. You can't sit up there and tell me, and I like golden brown tater tots. I don't like uncooked tater tots. I don't like black tater tots. I don't like hard tater tots, pause. They gotta be golden brown. Anticipation. It's making me wait. So I do the taste test before I put salt and pepper on them. I do the taste test. I see how they taste. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I follow it up with, hey, Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. This is cherry Kool-Aid. Cherry Kool-Aid. Cherry Kool-Aid and tater tots. What an awesome combination. Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. So look, I got my tater tots. I got my Kool-Aid. I'm good to go. Good to go. Man, you know, that's a cheaper, you want to call it an appetizer? That's a cheaper meal than going to McDonald's. That's a cheaper meal than going to Wendy's. You didn't have to drive. You don't have to wait for DoorDash. You don't have to pay an extra $20 to get your food here. Man, the air fryer is the bomb. Air fryer is the bomb diddy. If you ain't got no air fryer, you ain't living. Okay? You don't have to deal with grease. You don't have to deal with fatty grease. You don't have to deal with no mess. If you put them in the microwave, you don't have to deal with it being too doughy or too hard. Pause. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna enjoy this meal. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Deuces. Anticipation.